Welcome to the Runna Podcast. I'm Ben, head coach.
And I'm Anya, international marathon runner, and we're proud to be the #1 rated running coaching service worldwide.
We'll be bringing insightful conversation with truly inspirational guests, as well as running tips and tricks for runners of all abilities.
Today on the podcast, we have Colleen Quigley, Olympian and Lululemon ambassador. She represented Team USA in Rio Olympics for the 3,000 metre steeplechase and is still the world record holder for the 4x1500 metre relay. She's a dedicated and resilient runner who's had her fair share of injuries, which she speaks about how to overcome. She talks about her presence on social media and what's next for her along this journey. She's also one of our amazing runner coaches, so you'll love this episode. Enjoy. Colleen, it's so great to chat to you today. How are you?
Good. Should we pretend like we haven't been hanging out for the last 3 days straight?
Yeah. Let's pretend.
It's been so good.
Let's start at the beginning of your journey.
Sure.
And let the listeners know, how did you first get into running?
Yeah. So I do kind of come from a family of runners. So I feel kind of blessed that my family understands what it is that I do. Like, I'm a professional runner. Most people are like, WTF is that? And how do you, is that a real job? But for my family, I feel like my parents and older brother ran and kind of still run a little bit, but they're very much in the sport. And so my family's like, they understand what I do. But all that being said, I never saw this for myself. That was never the goal. That was not on the radar. So I grew up dancing and playing soccer. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and everybody plays soccer when you're a kid in St. Louis. So I did that. I was a midfielder, so I'll do a lot of running for soccer, and I always joke that soccer players make the best runners. But dancing and playing soccer, I did a little bit of grade school track, and then freshman year of high school, the story goes that I was too nervous to try out for the soccer team in high school because I went to a school the soccer team was really good. Lori Chalupny went to my high school, U.S. Women's National Team member. And so I was too nervous to go out for the soccer team. So I went out for cross country and track instead. And that's how I got into running. It's just because I was a wuss.
Wow, so the story could have been really quite different if you had manned up and gone to that.
I have no lie. I have thought about what if I ended up on the U.S. Women's National Team instead of on, Team USA track and field. So yeah, that was an alternate path. But obviously, yeah, I went this way and did track and cross country through high school. And then I was actually also modeling a lot in high school, and I thought I was going to come move to New York City, where we're at now, and do that after high school. But then I got the opportunity to go to school for free, and get a scholarship and go be part of this thing called the NCAA. I was like, what's that? And so I did that at Florida State. And then it wasn't even until senior year there that I started thinking about, could I go to the Olympics? Like, that'd be crazy. And so, senior year I won nationals and then, signed a contract and went pro and started training for the Olympics. But yeah, all that to say is that was never the plan. That was never on my radar. I was just having fun running on my high school team. I went to an all girls Catholic high school. So we would just go run after practice around the streets. And, that was like my running. That was my intro to running.
So I guess when you decided not to go to the football team and went to try out some track and field and cross country, were you like the best of all of your peers, or did you really start normal? So
my dad coached high school boys cross country and track for, I think it was 30 years before I got to high school. So he was a big, I don't know if you guys use the Jack Daniel's formula in the UK, but he had the Jack Daniel's formula book. And that formula is all about, you find your VDOT number, and then that predicts all of your paces for your tempo pace and your interval pace and your race pace and all that stuff. And so he was really methodical about it in one way, very methodical and very serious, and he wasn't just making things up. But on the other side, he was very, he understood that this is high school running and it should be fun and it's about being part of a team. And he never allowed me to kind of take it too seriously or like get too stressed out about it. And so I was pretty good. Like freshman year, it was myself and one other freshman girl. We were on the varsity team, but I got a little bit banged up that year and I didn't get to compete with the team at the state meet. So it wasn't like, I was like some kind of huge freshman phenom. But then I guess by like sophomore, junior year, I was definitely the best girl on the team and doing most workouts by myself at that point. Didn't have anyone, no boys at my school to like do workouts with. So I was like working out by myself a lot. And then I do have memories of high school, like in the winter, we'd have conditioning, in between seasons in the winter between cross and track. And we would meet up after school for like winter conditioning. My dad would kind of lead the winter conditioning program. And there were plenty of days where it would be like 25 degrees and like kind of like slushy, snowy, like icy outside. And I would show up to winter conditioning after school with my tights and my hat or my, ear warmers and my gloves. And I'd be like ready to run. And I'd look around. Looks like I'm the only one at winter conditioning today. Like no one else would show up. It would just be like me and my dad, getting the work in. So I think looking back, I was more into it and like dedicated to it by like junior, senior year than anyone else at my school.
And did your dad help you before like being your coach at school? Like was he always supporting you and pushing you to run as a young kid?
No, he never pushed us to run, which I feel really grateful that both my parents were really like, I was super into dance. And so they were very supportive of that, taking me to dance class. I was in like a traveling dance group. We were like traveled to Disney World and like performed in Disney and at Disney and stuff growing up. And they were very like, we were into that. And so they were into that and soccer or whatever. They never even when my dad, looking back, I think my dad knew I was going to be good at running. Like, I think he probably was like chomping at the bit to like get, like have me realize my real potential. But I never felt that way. Like I never felt like the pressure from him to do it or anything. And then honestly, the best gift that he gave me was he did coach me all throughout high school. And then he ended up taking over the program at my old high school after I graduated. And then the next year they won the state meet without me, which was like, I wish I could have been there for that. But then when I went to school, he completely released me into Coach Karen Harvey at Florida State's hands and did not try to get involved with like, it's like you're on that team. And he never tried to like be too, we would call, I would call my parents once a week or whatever, and he would want to know about how things were going and what workouts I did. And he'd be like so into like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did a 6-mile, steady state effort at this. Like, that's amazing. You've come so far. Whatever. He was super like supportive and into it, but like just like the perfect balance of like not forcing it upon me. And always it was like my choice and my thing. And if anything, I would get really stressed out. I can remember having a couple of, looking back, probably like an anxiety attack at practice where I would like hyperventilate during a workout because I was like so stressed about just being a runner and, putting pressure on myself. And then he would have to kind of like remind me like it doesn't matter, like it's all good, you're doing great. And he would be the one to like, if anything, pull me back. And I think good high school coaches do that. They don't need to push high school kids usually, not the good ones. The good high school kids need to be reined back. And I think it's the same for like I had a triathlon coach for a couple of years, and he said his elite athletes, his biggest job was pulling them back, and then his like age grouper athletes, his biggest job was like kind of coercing them into doing more and like inspiring them to do more. But any elite athletes he'd had ever coached, his job was literally just to like have them just do a little bit less. And I think that's, looking back, what my dad did was like he was always kind of just bringing me back and just doing a little bit less.
I guess we're obviously going to come on to some of the amazing things you've gone on to achieve, but almost thinking back to like, and something I find so fascinating is like nature v nurture.
Yeah.
Do you think that your achievements in running are more driven by maybe genetical points in time and like doing how you're made up? Or do you think it's the way that your dad and all the other factors around you led you to be? Or do you think in reality it's impossible to put
I
it
know
on one?
it has to be both, right? Because I look at my genetics, and like I look at my mom's body and my body, and I see like so many. I'm like, yep, by my mom's legs and lack of booty. Thanks, mom. Things like that. But it's like I definitely see like how I've just been given so many tools, that I didn't earn them in any way. Like I just was born that way. And so I always try to like be like, I have this tool, like I want to be able to use it. And I think actually some of the mindset stuff or like the toughness stuff, or I think that's also like, that's just how I am. I didn't necessarily train that in myself. But I think what was so important was that my parents I could have become a monster. Like I definitely could have. I definitely have all of the tools for an eating disorder, yet I've never struggled really truly with an eating disorder. I've struggled with times where I've had dabbles of like some disordered eating, but I've never had a full-blown eating disorder. And I think that is, I have all the makings of an eating disorder, and I never got one. So I was like, okay, that's because I had people around me that were supporting me in a way that made me feel really safe, and like were giving me good examples of, how to fuel and how to take care of yourself. So it has to be both. It has to be that you have the tools. If you want to make it to like the Olympics, I think you have to have both. You have to have like the raw materials, but then you also have to surround yourself with people that like make you, believe in yourself and support you and like build you up. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, maybe you could have like moments of greatness, but you're not going to be able to like sustain that for very long. Mm-hmm. So I always credit both my parents and I was homeschooled until high school. So I spent a lot of time, my mom homeschooled me until high school with my siblings. So I spent a lot of time with her. And I think that was also a big part of like really solidifying like who I am and like, that
so you were homeschooled.
Nurture part.
You were homeschooled and then you went off to running training where it was just you and your dad. So you kind of carried it on.
Well, I did have in high school we had a team, so I did have a team, but I was like workouts were pretty much by myself. Sometimes he would have me like have some of the girls start before me, and then I would like chase them or something, just to have somebody to kind of chase. But most of the time by junior and senior year, I did most of my like workouts alone. But I could do like easy runs with the girls and stuff. Like I was very like at that point. Actually, I should mention that the reason I didn't really like running growing up, and I dabbled in a little like grade school. We had like a grade school track team, and my parents were the coaches and stuff. But I hated it. It was just like all day on a Saturday, you're at a hot track in the summer. Just you run for 20 seconds, and then you go sit back in the shade, in the tent, and wait to go do the long jump or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, this is for the birds, like. So boring, but in high school, it was all of a sudden it became a team sport, because you're like doing cross country as a team. You're doing workouts together. You get on the start line, you do your little hand, everyone's hands, and you do like your team cheer, and you're like woo, and it's like it became. And I was like, oh, okay, this feels different than like when I did it when I was younger. So I think that actually. Looking back, that was like what hooked me into, okay, it's a team sport, just like soccer was. Soccer felt like very much a team sport, obviously, but like running didn't feel that way until like I got to high school and I had a team. And then that just exploded in college when I kind of by junior, senior of high school, I felt kind of lonely because I was the only one in my team that really cared about running as much as I did. No one else from my team was like going to go run in college. And so I kind of like started to feel like I was making sacrifices for running in high school that like no one else on my team was willing to sacrifice. Like I went home early from prom. I skipped high school graduation because it was the same day as the sectional meet to go to state. So I was sacrificing things for running that no one else was. And then I got to college, and everyone on my college team was just like me. They had all done the same sacrifices. They had all felt the same way. And all of a sudden I was like, these are my people. Like, this is so cool. And they had done things that I could only dream of doing, like becoming All-American in the NCAA, or like, podium and this or that. And I was like, oh, I want to be like that. I had role models on my team, which was really cool too.
So when you started, making those sacrifices, was that a conscious effort to be like, I'm going to pursue this and I'm going to be like the best athlete I can? Or did that progression just happen naturally?
That's a good question. I think I am one of those people who just, like I kind of am an all or nothing type of person. So I think I probably like got a taste of success. Like maybe I won a race here or there or something. And I'm hyper competitive. Like y'all do not want to play board games with me. Like it's not fun. Nobody likes that. It's not fun for anybody.
Have you played Catan?
Yeah, I have.
No way. Do you like Catan?
It's okay. Yeah. I truly have a hard time playing games, like because it's not fun. It's not fun. Like I get too competitive, and then I'm like sweating, and you know, if I don't win, I like truly get upset. Like it's not cute. It's not the best version of myself.
That does sound like me playing board games. I love them when I'm winning.
It's not a good version of me. I know that. Yeah.
No, I hate board games. And like, because almost I'm nervous to lose. And so I'll play them and I'll win once. I'm like, not again, because I just keep a winning streak. Like, I can't lose.
I'm kind of like that. So I think, when I was making those sacrifices, was it like, I'm going to give this up? Or was it just, I don't know. It was almost like when other people, even recently, here's an example. In more recent time, I was on vacation with my partner and his parents. And it was in the fall. So it was like off season, but like I'm still training. Like we don't really, we like still train in off season. And we were in Napa, like wine country in California. And my partner's really into wine, and so are his parents. And so they wanted to do wine tastings, like starting at like 10 a.m. and they were just going to do them all day. I traveled with my bike there. I like brought my bike with me and stuff. And I was doing triathlon training, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to swim because swimming is kind of hard to do when you travel, but I was going to run and bike. The first day they had like the first tasting at 10 a.m. And I told Kevin, like, I'll meet you guys this afternoon. Like, I'm not doing that. That's just like I'm not interested. I want to go ride my bike for 3 hours. You know, that's like it's not even like a sacrifice for me. I'd rather go be on my bike for 3 hours. Like I've never biked here. It's so fun to bike in places I've never been. And I've heard that there's good routes here. I don't feel like I'm missing out on the 10 a.m. tasting. Like they're so excited for it and they booked it. And it was so funny because Kevin's dad, like he was kind of confused, but I think also like almost like he like maybe his feelings were hurt a little bit that I didn't want to go. And I was like, and as I was leaving, I was like, I have my helmet on and I'm like going to my bike ride. And he was like, are you sure you don't want to go to the tasting with us? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure. Like it's not like, and maybe it's just always kind of been like that. Like I'm like, this is what I want to do. And yes, I do have to like miss out on some things. And some things are harder. Like sometimes if I have to like miss out on a wedding or a bachelorette party for a friend, or like something that is like, I do feel like, like I want to do both.
So it's very much the case that the running and the training is what excites you.
Love
so you're not missing out on other, or you're missing out in other areas, but you're doing it because you'd rather be running and not because you're so driven for the outcome that you'll endure.
Exactly.
Okay. And has that always been the case?
Yeah, and I think it ebbs and flows. Sometimes it does feel more like someone else is making me do this. And so I was with a coach for 6 years that was very strict. And like there was really he never understood a balance between life and like training. And I made more sacrifices when I was with that team than I wanted to, because there was no flexibility and no understanding of like, I really have to go do this. And I understand I'm going to miss a workout, but in this case, it's worth it to miss the workout, you know? And like, there was never an instance in his mind that was worth missing the workout. And so I think he took it too far.
And in that period of time, where maybe like the balance is wrong for what you would like.
Yep.
How did it affect your performance?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to complain because I did make the Olympic team in that, in that situation. And I made the team in 2015 I can't give that team credit for because that was really when I was in college. But I made the team in 2015. 2016 was the Olympics. 2017, I made the team for Worlds. 2018 was an off year. But 2018, I made an indoor team. And then 2019, I made the team, all with that coach. So, I mean, it's hard to say that, like, he was wrong because I did have a lot of success, but I also had more injuries than I could count on both my hands during that time. So it's like, what's the price? I probably spent more time injured than I did healthy. When I was healthy, we had some amazing highs, but the lows were so low that it's almost like, I don't know, if that was really worth it. There was the one year that really got me was 2019. I got 5 major injuries in one year that took me out for like multiple weeks at a time. And it was just a tough year. And I looked back on my training at the end of the year and I averaged, there were some weeks where I was like running like 85, 90 miles a week. And then many weeks where I was running 0 miles. And I averaged throughout the year, if I had just the average per week mileage was 55 miles. And I look back and I was like, I wonder if I had just run 55 or 60 miles a week, could I have just run 55 miles a week every week? And could I like have been a lot more happy this year doing that than the 90 weeks and the 0 weeks? So I think the balance was off, but it's also so hard because I did have some really good
I guess
success.
that's almost like the thing for people listening is that like, maybe it is the case that to be that great and to be representing the biggest nation in the world at the Olympics, you have to take things to the extreme.
Yeah.
But it isn't the best way to be happy and to have a sustainable long-term experience with the sport.
And I think you just have to find the line. Like, I think that was what I explored with for those years was we were a little too far beyond my line in terms of like training intensity and volume and like just stress levels and cortisol levels. But I think you can't go too far in the other way either. If you say yes to every media opportunity and say yes to every wedding and yes to every night out drinking with friends, like that's not going to work either, right? So, and it's probably not in the middle either. It's probably more on the extreme end. You're somewhere, if this is extreme, I don't know if people are listening without video aren't going to see my hands, but if you're like way over on the left side is your extreme overtraining Jerry Schumacher style, and then way over on the right is like what my grandma thinks I should be doing. I'm not even in the middle. I still have to be skewed to the Jerry Schumacher crazy side. But it's just such a fine line. And I will say it's just different for everyone. Like there are some people who have no interest in doing the photo shoots and doing the podcast. Like we did a braid bar on Friday before the marathon. I haven't done one of those since before COVID, but we used to do those before. Like in 2019, I won my first and only national title indoors in the mile. And the day before, I hosted a braid bar for like a couple hundred girls in New York City. And my coach, I didn't tell him about that I was doing that because he would never have okayed it. He would have thought I was insane. And my teammates thought I was insane for like going into the city and spending 2 or 3 hours on my feet and talking to girls and stuff. And they never would have done that the day before their race. But I was so fueled by it. I was like, this is my why. This is my this is the whole why of like why I do this. And it fueled me and like energized me so much. And then, I went out and won the race the next day. And I think everyone was like, oh, dang, like, okay, maybe you're right type of thing. So it's different for every athlete. Like that would have not energized. Some athletes would have been completely exhausted by that. And that wouldn't have been their formula for success. So I think part of my journey since leaving that team is figuring out what my formula is, what works for me. And then, and toying with it. You have to tinker with it a little bit. You're not going to like, get it right every time. But that's, it's kind of the journey of figuring out what your magical formula is.
I bet something that I think was so interesting that we kind of like breezed past. Back when you were in New York, you wanted to be a dancer.
Yeah.
Like, what did you want to do there, and how easy was it to choose running and sport instead of dancing? Like, did you pursue that at all?
Yeah, modeling actually. So I danced. You're right that I danced and played soccer, and started modeling in high school. And I thought that when I graduated high school, I was going to move to New York and do the modeling thing full time at an agency here, Wilhelmina, that represented me. And I went back and forth a lot in high school and did international trips and stuff all throughout high school, and it was so fun. And I thought, this will be I have to finish high school. Like I can't drop out of high school to go do this. But my partner now at the time we've been together since high school. So he is a year older than me and graduated from high school a year before me and moved to New York, went to school out here. So I thought, it'd be great. I can be in the city too. Like, I love New York. I'll be modeling. He'll be going to school. Like, this will be great. That's like an alternative life thing like could have happened. But senior year, I think I got more into running senior year of high school. And when it really came down to it to decide between running and modeling was so different and fun because both my parents are like teachers as a profession. Like, we went camping and hiking on family vacations. Like, we didn't do, you know, glamorous things. So being able to like, go to New York and like stay in a nice hotel and like be on a photo shoot and like get your hair done. And like, it was such a different experience. And it was so like, felt so glamorous that I was like, wow, that would be great. But when it came down to it, it was like the running, when I ran a race, like when I won the state title finally my senior year, that was just like the best. That was better than any magazine cover, or, you know, I was in 17 magazine or Glamour magazine, or my friends would see me or walked the runway for like Tommy Hilfiger, and that was like all so fun and stuff. But like winning the state meet for the state of Missouri was better. Like, that was better than that.
Is that because it was harder?
Yeah, because I earned it. I was like, you know, I didn't do it. I have blonde hair and blue eyes, and like I didn't do anything for that.
Whereas it's a testament to your training.
Like,
that means
I
you win a
worked
race.
so hard, and I didn't win it. I didn't win it until my senior year. Like, I had to, you know, go through the getting my butt kicked part in order to like get to the part where I was like on the top of the podium, and it felt so rewarding. Like, I did that, and I think at the end of the day, when I got to choose between the two, I wanted the one that I felt like I was really proud of. Like, I was so proud of like that I did that. And I could go to school for free. Also, like, I think my parents being in education, I value like, you know, education probably a lot because of them.
Scholarships.
Yeah, and I was like, I could go to school for like, I get a free education from this. Like, how do I?
Well, I think
it
just speaks to satisfaction, which is you've got to do something hard to then really so be proud of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And I guess that I did that experience. So having spent time as a model helped when it came to building a bit more of an income within the sporting sphere and working with brands.
Looking back, it really helped me in so many ways. Like, I was comfortable traveling. When I go travel for meets, you know, when I started doing that, it didn't even feel like that big of a deal. It's like travel internationally and go to a meet. I've been doing, you know, traveling internationally for work for like all throughout high school. So that part was easy. And then doing interviews like on camera as an athlete didn't really feel like that scary. Doing photo shoots for sponsors also was like easy. And the sponsors were like so grateful that I was like, we could get the stuff that they needed so much faster, because I was like, this is easy for me. You know, I've like have a lot of experience being on it, because it is like, it might seem easy to an outsider, but it is like a skill that you have to like work on to know how to like present yourself in front of a camera. And so I felt like, I was like, oh, I kind of didn't even realize I had built up that muscle, you know, and then I could use it for a sponsor. And they were like, this is great. Like, you make it so much easier. We can get through stuff quicker. So yeah, I think in a lot of ways it weirdly did help me as a professional. And then in 2016 when I made the team, I started like building out myself as a brand. Like, I made a website for myself and started to like think about myself as like a mentor or leader or role model. And it was like, okay, how do I want to do that? And kind of, I think I was, you know, a little bit more ahead of the time than some of my teammates who were just like, I just run and play video games, you know, I don't do anything else. And I was like, yeah, I don't really like video games, so I'm gonna find something else to, you know, spend the other 10 hours of my day doing. So yeah, I think it weirdly helped me in a lot of ways.
How did it feel when you first got selected for that Olympic team? Because I know you said like it was your parents wanted to be selected.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's always been their dream.
Yeah, my parents ran marathons, and their goal was always to go to the Olympic trials for the marathon. So they were just trying to like, they were running the races back then, you know, same races as today, and trying to get that time to like go to the trials. And neither of them were able to achieve that goal. And then my older brother went to Mizzou and ran the steeplechase and the 5K. I'm pretty sure he still has the steeplechase record at Mizzou. Daniel Quigley, shout out. But he went pro after school and was trying to run for a couple years in Eugene. He's like joined a team in Eugene. But he was also like, you know, working a part-time job, like doing the pro runner hustle thing. And I guess getting injured runs in our family because he kept getting injured. And he got injured right before the trials in 2016. So we were kind of hoping that we would both, my brother and I, could both compete at the Olympic trials together, which would be kind of cool. But, wasn't meant to be. And he got injured before. And so I was like, okay, like, it's your turn. Like, it's our last hope. I have a little sister as well, but she doesn't run. She's a dancer. So it was like, I was the last one in our family to maybe I can make it happen. I didn't really feel that kind of pressure, but it was cool to have, like, they were all there at the trials. I had been through an injury that year. From like the fall of 2015 to the spring of 2016, I've been dealing with injuries, and I finally got healthy with like 10 weeks to go before the Olympic trials. I was finally like cleared to run and was able to start training. And so it was a very like, I don't know if it's going to be enough time, like very stressful build up to the trials. And then I got there and I was healthy and I was actually coming around and like my workouts were going really well and I was like getting fit kind of at the last second. So I was like, okay, like, we're doing this. And I made the team and they were all there. And it was just like, that's still one of my like core memories from like my best memory from running career is having that. We do this like victory lap at Hayward Field. If you make the team, you get to do like a lap and, say hi to all the fans and do autographs. And they make you feel like such a celebrity. And my family was all there in the crowd. So when I got to them, it was like 200 meters into my victory lap and my mom's just sobbing. So I start sobbing and it was just like a very emotional like thing for the whole family. But that was a core memory because it was so fun.
So I guess that must have been one of many amazing achievements. Do you have a pinnacle sporting achievement that you look back on and say is the greatest thing you've achieved in the sport?
I think that was a peak moment for me. I was 8th at the Olympics, which I weirdly, looking back, I'm like more proud of it than I was at the time. I was like, that was good, Colleen. Like you were, that was solid. You made the final. I was 11th. I made the world team was the year before in Beijing was my first international team. And I made the final and was 11th. And I remember being like weirdly disappointed with that as well. I guess athletes are always just so hard on ourselves. Like we can't be proud of what we've done. But and the next year in Rio, I was 8th. And I remember at that time thinking, when I signed to go pro, I thought I was like, I studied dietetics in college and I thought I was going to go be a dietitian and I loved like nutrition and I thought I was going to help people, be healthy through food and stuff. And then when I got the chance to like go pro and try and go to the Olympics, I was like, okay, let me try and do that. But I always thought about it. It was like, well, I graduated in 2015. The Olympics are 2016. It's only a year of my life. Like I might as well take a shot. And if I don't make it, no worries. I'll just like go do this dietetics thing. That's what I was going to do anyway. And if I do make it, sick. Like I went to the Olympics, like amazing. Then I'll go to the dietetics thing. Like I always thought that was just going to be like a year of my life that I would like try to go to the Olympics. I was so naive to think, I just didn't even think about that I could like do it as a career for like longer than that. But then in 2016 at the Olympics, I was 8th. And I remember just being like I want more. Like that wasn't good enough. And I was like, I'm going to come back in 4 years and like do it again and do it better. And so that's when like I really decided to like be a professional. Like I'm going to like for real, I'm going to do this thing. And then shortly after that, I started getting injured all the time and have not made another team since then. Just goes to show you never know. But I think that was probably like even just making the team was probably the biggest like memory I have. And then maybe another highlight would have been here in New York, I won the indoor national title in 2019. And that was also coming off an injury. And so coming into the race feeling like I'd been injured and I was just kind of gaining momentum coming into the race. And I took down the reigning national champion who had won, I think Shelby Houlihan at that time had won like 8 or 9 national titles in a row. She was on a streak. Like every time she tried to win nationals, she won for like 8 or 9 titles in a row. And I broke her streak, which was really, I was like, yeah, like that was legit. Like I won against a legit field, which that was really fun. And my family was there. Every time I've had a big race, my parents were both there.
Wow.
And that was really fun to be able to celebrate with them. Yeah.
So I guess you obviously speak of the challenges of injury and not making an Olympic team. Obviously, we've recently had the Paris Olympics. How did you find like that point in time?
Super hard, like mixed feelings. I had so many friends that were competing and doing really well, and it was so fun to like see them live out their dreams, but also so bittersweet because I just, every time I saw something, I'd be like, I just want to be there. Like, I know what it's like because I did it, you know, and I also think that Paris just did such a good job. Like everyone who got to experience it that I've talked to just said like they did such an amazing job hosting, that the experience was so good. And there were certain things about Rio that I think could have been a little bit better. Some things that it was our fault. So my coach didn't have us stay at the Olympic Village. We stayed at a hotel near the U.S. team practice track. It was about an hour drive from the village. So he didn't want us, like, fair enough, driving back and forth every day to practice. So we just like stayed in a hotel. So part of it felt like we didn't go to opening ceremonies because it was 10 days before we were going to, you know, track is like usually at the end of the program. And so he didn't want us like going in, doing opening ceremonies and then being there for like, I think it was like almost 2 weeks before we, you know, competed. So we did like a heat and humidity training camp in Madison, Wisconsin. I remember watching the opening ceremonies from the TV at the hotel like lobby, like watching Team USA like process in, and we were just like eating like, you know, Chinese food from the lobby of the hotel, being like, well, this is anticlimactic, you know. So I always thought if I could go back that I would do it differently. Like I would be all in on like the experience of like being at the Olympics. So I think that was definitely one thing this year watching was like, oh, like that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to walk in the opening ceremonies and then be there for closing. Like I wanted to do the whole thing, be in the village, they had like these like viral chocolate muffin things, you know, just all the little things that I wanted to like be able to participate in. I think that was the hardest part.
Yeah, it must have been really tough, all of your injuries. We get so many questions from our running users about struggling with injury. Do you have any tips to keep yourself so motivated when in such a low point?
Yeah, I've dealt with them, you know, so many times that I do kind of have a few things that I can share to say, you know, to focus on. I think maybe I'll just start with the biggest thing is that for me, running has always been about being a part of a team and like being a part of a community. And so I think the hardest thing when you're injured is that you're taken away from your community and you feel isolated and you feel alone. You know, you might not, if you have a run club, you might not be going to run club if you're hurt. Like you probably don't go. And so then you might see them like posting online about like their, you know, they had their practice, or you're in a group chat and they're talking about it, but you didn't go. And you feel like, I think that makes people feel really lonely and sad. So I don't know if this applies to your normal person, but when I was injured, I would try to go to practice whenever I could. I was doing a lot of cross training, and if I was in school, I was also like studying. But I would try to go to practice when I could, even if I wasn't running, and like help take time. Like I would like help time people's workouts, or just be there for the stretching part, you know, or drills, or when people are, you know, the stupid bullshit stuff is happening when like people are making jokes and stuff, and then later you like feel like if you missed out on it, you like don't understand the inside joke or whatever. But if you just kind of put yourself in the mix, hopefully you can still feel like you are still a part of that community even when you're injured. And when you come back, they'll be so happy to have you back, and everyone will celebrate, you know, that you're healthy again and all of that. But I think it can just feel like when you're in the pool, like cross training, or if you're at home on the couch, you just feel so alone. I think that's like the number one hardest thing is to like feel alone. So any way you can feel like you're still part of your community is really important. And then maybe the other thing would be that I would say one major part that feels so good about running is the endorphins. And that is like a real chemical thing that happens in your body. It's not, you know, it's science. Endorphins make you happy, like these happy hormones that go through your body. It's like a runner's high is like a real thing. And so if you can't run, there are different ways to move your body to be able to like release some of those hormones that will actually help you mentally feel better. And so if you're injured, but you're allowed to do any spinning or on like a spin bike or a bike outside would be my ideal. Or if you have to, you can swim. It's not my favorite, but swimming is obviously no impact on the body and you're, you know, weightless in the water. So that's usually the safest thing. Or God forbid, aqua jogging. Hopefully you can find some waterproof headphones because that's probably the most boring thing. But doing anything where you can get some like happy hormones going through your body. And then it also helps with like you get out of the pool and you're ravenous, like you're so hungry. Because sometimes I think when we're hurt, like you lose appetite or you just, you feel really lethargic. But if you go get to, do even a 30-minute, go aqua jog for 30 minutes, you'll get out of the pool and you'll want to eat a good meal and then you sleep better at night and then you feel better the next. It just like really helps with so many
and almost
things.
That positive feedback cycle is also then what helps overcome an injury. Like if you think, oh, I can't run, let's eat rubbish. There's no point sleeping well because I'm not recovering from my workouts. And then you don't actually recover from the injury in the same way. So like trying to keep as much regular routine as possible and just substitute the running for cross training, like you said.
Exactly. And actually one thing you said is true, is that you think like, oh, I'm not running anyway, I can like eat whatever I want. Or sometimes the opposite might be, I'm not running, I can't eat as much as I normally would because I'm not burning the calories. And that's something I personally have definitely dealt with, where I'm afraid to like put on weight when I'm injured because I'm like, well, I'm going to get back to running soon, and if I put on 5 pounds it'll be harder to run, when I come back. So I'm like trying to eat less or eat like a bunch of salads and stuff. And the reality of that is that your body is working really hard to heal. And so you need not only nutrients, but like literally you need the calories and you need a lot of nutrients. So if you're just, trying to eat junk food because that, you're feeling sorry for yourself, or if you're eating less or eating lighter because you feel like you don't deserve food, like that is it's a death spiral. Like absolutely cannot say enough about that is not the way to go. You will not heal faster. You will actually probably prolong your injury. When you get back to running, if you are, a little bit quote unquote overweight or whatever, it will come off really quickly. It's more important. Like the number one priority when you're injured is to get healthy. And so you have to fuel your body in order for your body to heal and get better.
And probably just to be patient and to be optimistic. Totally. Like the body is incredible at recovering from
it really is.
all kinds of wear and tear and damage. And I think I had very similar kind of experience to what you're talking of. I had a bulging disc at the end of 2023 and couldn't train for 3 months, put on plenty of weight. But the body recovered, and then I was able to get back into good shape again. And I think like making sure that you keep up some cross training where you can, and eat good quality food and prioritize your sleep, doing all the things that can get you back to the thing you love as soon as possible is so key.
Yeah. Maybe the priorities even should be like community and staying connected to community, nutrition, and then cross training. Like I feel like people actually usually reverse that, and it's in your priority list. The cross training definitely important, but like maybe there are other things that are more important.
The thing I'd love to understand is what's the goal from here?
Yeah, it's such a good question. The summer has been this year, I guess, and particularly the summer has been very interesting. In April, I had a weird series of events where I felt like I had seen everyone in terms of like doctors and health professionals. I had flown all over the world, been, to see all these people who are really good at what they do and have had a lot of success with other athletes. And it just felt like no matter who I saw, no matter what I did, nothing was really working. Like I wasn't really feeling better. And so I started feeling like, am I crazy? Like, am I making it up? Or like, what is happening? And I felt like there was something. I was like seeing a sports psych. I saw a few different sports psychs over the years that I just like, wasn't really doing it for me. And then I would see like all these physical like doctors and chiropractors and all this stuff. And there was just something, I had this sense that like, I need something that's marrying these two things. I need something that's like a combination. It's like there is a mental component and a physical component. And why do we like treat them so differently? And then just through this weird series of events, I got connected with this person who works with a bunch of other people in track and field that I know. His name is Dr. Moose, Dr. Noah Moose. He works in Austin, Texas, and he does, I don't think he'd be offended by me saying this, he does some of the weirdest ish you have ever seen. It's so weird and very different than anything I'd ever, experienced before. But I think I'd gotten to the point where I had tried everything and nothing normal and like Western medicine was working. And so I was like, let me just try this. And so I came to it with a pretty open mind and honestly, like pretty desperate. And it's been a process. Like that was in April. I tried to race like 6 weeks after starting this like process with him, and it was horrible. I raced the slowest steeplechase that I have run since college. My nervous system just like imploded or just went in on itself, and I like was like running through water through mud for like 10 minutes. So it was not a quick fix by any means, but I'm happy to say that this fall, I finally feel like I'm running in a way that I don't think I've run this way since probably college. Like it feels like my body feels so different. It feels like, oh, like I wasn't crazy. Like something was wrong. You know, I got to the point where I was just like, I'm fine, because no one could figure out what was wrong with me. Then I was like, it's in my head, I'm fine. And now that I'm running the way that I know I should be running, I'm like, I knew it. Like I freaking knew it. I knew something was wrong. You know, like I was right.
Well, I mean, I've seen that just by like watching your Strava captions.
Yeah.
And I mean, yesterday you ran a half marathon.
I ran 13
fun,
miles yesterday.
And then you went this morning and ran a further
Another
9 miles.
Yeah.
So you're in doing incredible shape.
Yeah.
You're running the volume of marathon runners.
Yeah. It depends on who you talk to, but I feel like I'm running like 50 to 60 miles a week. Last week and the week before I ran 60. This week will be like a down week. I have some more travel coming up. I am also this fall balancing a bunch of both personal travel as well as like partner travel. I always push all my like partner obligations to the off season, and then the off season comes and I have to, you know, pay all my bills. By
partner, you mean brands?
All my brand partners, yes. Yeah, all my brand partners want me to do things during the track season. And I usually, there are some exceptions of things that I can do if it's a light lift. But if I have to like travel to New York City from LA, like I wouldn't do that while I'm like training for a race. It's just like cross country travel and being like a personality for 3 days is definitely an off-season activity. I just know that how much, you know, that takes out of me. It's one of my favorite parts of the job. I do truly love it. Like I know some athletes who like hate that part and they see it as like, you know, they have to like do it. I love it. I always do it in the off season.
So balance it with the training.
Yeah. So now I'm like paying all, you know, I'm doing all those things. And so sometimes my 2 workout a week schedule turns into 1 workout a week. If I'm doing 2 flights and a you know, a bunch of sponsor stuff, then I have to like be a little bit, I'm realistic about what my body can handle. But that being said, I am starting to look at putting a race on the schedule and feeling like, I think I'm ready to like see what I can run if I'm in a 5K or even a mile, which feels exciting. I also am, happy to say that I am working with my old college coach again, who is the only female coach I've ever worked with in my whole career. Her name is Karen Harvey. And this summer, during some of this mental, physical, neurological work that I was doing with Dr. Moose, one of the like aha things that I had, because I think one part of this is when you're unraveling all this stuff, it is a mental and physical thing, and it kind of like allows you to maybe like work out things in your life that before just felt like so confusing, and things just kind of become clear as like a great side effect of it. And one thing was that I actually don't want to train for the Olympic triathlon in 2028. I thought that maybe that's where my career was going, and it kind of felt like everyone was just kind of like, you should definitely do that. Like, you're going to be good at that. Like, you should just stop trying to force track to happen. It's not happening. You should go do this. And I was like, okay, like, you know, I'm giving this gift, like I should go do it. And this summer I realized I actually don't want to do that. I just want to run. And even though it feels crazy because everyone's like, you know, you could do that and be successful and have another career, it's just not where my heart is. Like, I just want to run. And so I told my triathlon coach that, and I was like, thank you so much. It's been great working with you, but, you know, no longer need your services. I still bike all the time. I probably will swim, hopefully not very much ever. And then I looked around and I said, you know, who do I want to coach me? And the only person I could think of that I truly wanted to work with was my college coach. I just felt like she knows me so well. She's the only female coach I've ever worked with. She just gets it. Like, she gets it. She gets me. And so we reconnected, and I caught her up on like this health craziness that I've been through. She's been following from afar, but we probably talk like once a year. And so I caught her up on like the last year. I was like all the things in Austin and all this stuff. And she was like, you know, I was like, it sounds crazy, but I'm just curious. Like, I wonder if I actually figure out why I've been injured so much, I'm curious to know what's left. And it might be very little. At this point, I'm almost 32. But I was like, I'm just curious and I want to find out. And she was like, just the word that you used, curious or like curiosity. She's like, let's find out. Like I'm also curious. So yeah, we've been working together for, I guess it's like almost 3 months maybe. And yeah, it seems to be going really well. So we'll see.
Well, we'll have to stay tuned and watch the story unfold.
Yeah.
Final question before we dive into our second half of the podcast. Yes. We were supporting and cheering on our runners here in New York for the New York Marathon. Yeah. Do you think, having seen the New York Marathon, would you ever see yourself running a marathon?
Never say never. I mean, look, my excuse I feel like has always been like, oh, a 5K seems like a really, even a 5K, I've run a couple 5Ks and it just seems really long. Like you're just redlining for 15 minutes. Like it's such a long time for me to hurt. Like the steeplechase is 9 minutes. And I like the 1500 because it's only, it's like 4.5 minutes, 4 minutes. And so a marathon seems really long. But yesterday when I was cheering, I had this and I've kind of realized this before, but especially yesterday, I had this revelation. I'm standing there in Harlem and there's like 56,000 people that were in this race, the New York City Marathon. And I'm just watching people go by. It was like 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So people have been running for hours and they're at mile like 20. And I'm just watching people like just streaming by me, streaming. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, I mean this in the most genuine way. These are just normal human beings. They are not super athletes. They probably a few years ago might not have even considered themselves runners. Like, they're just, but they just signed up. They decided they were going to do it. They committed to it. They signed up for it. They raised the money or they got selected, whatever it was. They did the training. They showed up on the race day and now they are running a marathon and they are all just doing it. And then I was just like, why am I making these stupid excuses that I can't do it? I could definitely do that. So now I'm like, all right, would it be cool if I could, get to the point where a few of my old teammates and I decide to, we commit to it one year and we say, okay, we're going to choose the race. I would love for it to be New York City because I think it's just an iconic tour of the city on foot. But we all sign up for it and we do it together because I actually saw some people doing it like a couple times. I saw girlfriends wearing matching kits and racing and running it side by side. And I was like, oh my God, that would be so fun to have I would love to get like 4 or 5 of my old teammates and we all do it together and no matter whoever wants to run the slowest, we all go whoever wants to run the slowest pace so we can like run it together and just like do it as a celebration that like we're strong enough to like run a marathon.
If you need,
that'd be so fun.
You need Anya to wear matching Lululemon
matching
outfits, you guys can
we might need a pacer, and I heard you're pretty dang consistent, so we might have to hire you to be our pacer. And I saw you running with the flag the other day, so we need you to like run with like a boombox or something.
You can do that.
I feel like you're our girl.
Well, good to know that the door's not closed. Anyway.
It's not. Yeah, I used to say like no way, and the other reason I feel like I need to do it is because every time I get into like an Uber or something, they ask me like, "What do you do for a living?" And I'm like. Sometimes I just say like I work for Lululemon in the sports marketing department just to like I don't want to talk about it. But if I'm like in a good mood, I'll be like I'm a professional runner, and they're like, oh no way, like that's cool. Like do you run have you run the marathon or how fast can you run a marathon or something? And I always have to be like, well, I've never run a marathon. And then they're like, always disappointed. So I'm like, okay. So I feel like I need to do one just to be like, yes, I have run a marathon. Yes.
Nice. So you're going to run a marathon to prove the taxi driver's wrong.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, on that note, we're going to segue over to Steph for our coaching tip of the week.
Today I have 3 non-negotiables for you when it comes to fueling and training. Life is all about balance, but there are certain things we can do in our training to really optimize our performance. My first one is avoid doing fasted training. This will delay our recovery, the depleted energy will affect our performance, and this can have a knock-on effect on sessions to come. My second one is for any runs you do over 70 minutes, make sure you're fueling. Take with you a gel, an energy bar or a drink and consume this every 30 to 35 minutes. My final one is As soon as you finish your running session, make sure you refuel and re-energize with a protein-rich and carbohydrate snack. The carbohydrates will help restore any energy reserves that have been depleted, and the protein is great to build muscle. Stick to these rules and you won't compromise the quality of your training.
Thank you for that, Steph. So we're going to jump in with a discussion from one of our runners. The question is, how much should I be stretching, and is being flexible beneficial for my running?
That's actually a really good question.
Do you stretch?
I do, but like only after I run. And I don't think that being flexible is actually that important.
But you do loads of drills before you run, which I don't do.
Yeah. I do some like activations, or some like bouncing drills, like things to kind of like warm up my like tendons and everything. But I think it's pretty well like supported scientifically that doing like stretches where you're like holding a stretch for like 30 seconds or a minute or something before you run is not good. It'll create like little micro tears in your muscles and could cause you to like cramp or whatever. So
pre-workout, always kind of dynamic movements.
Dynamic, yeah.
And would you do like a full-on mobility session, go do some yoga, go do some Pilates outside of your running, or you don't find it like helps you?
Outside of my running, yes. Yeah, I have a yoga studio near my house. It's like a 5-minute walk. And I love that for like an afternoon, or actually right now I'm only running 6 days a week. So I'll do like a nice yoga session and a bike ride or something on my day off. I do actually really enjoy that both mentally and physically. I think that's a great activity. But yeah, that would be like, I wouldn't recommend doing that and then going for a run right afterwards necessarily.
No, fully agree. I think, making sure we're warm for our movement.
Yeah.
Doing some dynamic movements is fantastic. And then prioritizing mobility almost independently. I definitely found anecdotally when I didn't work as kind of coach at Runner and I was an in-person coach. I'm also a Pilates instructor. And when I was taking stretch sessions, Pilates sessions regularly, I never got injured.
Yeah.
And it was just so good for me. And I could put my whole palms on the floor without having to kind of warm up for it. And I definitely don't have the time to do that. And it's the kind of the first thing that goes. But I think it's very much the case that we should be doing that to complement the running after or outside of the running rather than pre-running.
Do you think, have you ever thought about not only being flexible, but having strength in that position? So like if you like do a deep squat, like you want to have strength at if you can get yourself like into a deep squat, you should be like strength at the
full range of motion.
Yeah
And I think that's the case when you're thinking about the strength and conditioning work you're doing. We should be like not just doing like, imagine you want strong biceps, you don't just do like little reps to make a really strong beefy bicep, like maybe like full a bodyweight a bodybuilder would do. You want to work your full range of motion. If you're doing a straight leg deadlift, you want to go down, be strong in that kind of full range position and come all the way back up. And that can be a really good way for someone who maybe is also short of time to lengthen their muscles and to strengthen their muscles, which ultimately, to be healthy and to be strong and avoid injury, we want both long but strong muscles, which and we don't want one without the other.
I feel like that's like a Pilates thing, is long and strong. Like I do Pilates too. I feel like that's one of their main things. It's like long, like length in everything. So
amazing. Cool. Right. We're going to come in with our this or that.
Great.
So we know you like your sunglasses. Would you rather have to wear sunglasses every day or never wear sunglasses ever again?
Like every day, all day, 24/7 wearing sunglasses?
If you're outside. We'll let you take them off indoors.
So I can take them off indoors.
All winter, every day.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Sunglasses all the time.
Yeah.
Sure, Anya?
Easy. Also, I live in California, so I feel like I do that anyway.
If you lived in London, the question might be different.
Yeah, maybe.
I think never.
Never.
Yeah, even like running and racing, I'm like, the pictures will look better if you can see my eyes.
I love that.
It's all about the Instagram.
I feel like when I'm squinting, I feel like my whole face, like my face gets like tense.
Idea of that.
And I feel like that makes my makes my neck and stuff more tense. And I feel like I like it when I can just have like a really relaxed, like sprinters. If you ever see like slow motion sprinters, their faces are so relaxed. Yeah, their like cheeks and everything are like flopping around. If you watch them in slow mo, it's hilarious.
I feel like a floppy dog, dribbling out their cheek.
It's good though. That's how you're supposed to be. So I feel like those sunglasses help me keep my facial muscles relaxed.
Nice. Okay, right. Well, we know you like to do a bit of triathlon, but I understand that it's not in your future.
Yeah.
And we thought of this one given Anya.
I might still do like more triathlons. I definitely won't look to do the triathlon at the Olympics in 2028. Yeah. You know, it's not like
they're a leisure activity.
Yeah, exactly.
And a nice way to cross train.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, I think we thought of this one given that Anya and I love our triathlon too.
Okay, great.
So we can have a little debate here.
Great.
Would you rather do a triathlon and you get to wear flippers so you can swim real fast?
Okay. Is no one else wearing flippers?
No, this is just you.
Okay.
But you have to keep them on the whole triathlon. So you're cycling in your flippers.
No.
And then you're running in your flippers.
No.
Or
I'm not that bad of a swimmer.
Or you've got to wear carbon shoes for the entire thing.
Oh.
So you're swimming in your carbon running shoes. You have to cycle in your carbon running shoes. And then you have carbon running shoes.
This is a lose-lose situation. I feel like the carbon running shoes all wet. Even by the time you get to the run, it would still be like, that wouldn't even be helpful. I don't know. I cannot run in flippers. I'm out for that.
Have you ever tried to
That sounds so bad.
Even walk around the edge of a pool in flippers?
Yeah, no, I have.
You have to do it backwards.
Yeah.
Because they're just so annoying.
Yeah, no, I can't. I would have to do the carbon shoes.
Carbon shoes. And
could I swim holding the carbon shoes or like?
What would be worse though? Because if you have to swim with them on you need your hands almost more than your feet when you swim.
Maybe they would help if your feet float.
I actually think it wouldn't be that, but yeah.
I'm going.
You definitely wouldn't want to put them on your hands because you need to kind of scoop the water.
Yeah, that would kill your water holding ability.
Okay, right. Last one. Would you rather never ever be able to listen to music again, forever, or you have to eat all of your food for the rest of your life as powdered food?
Food is one of the essential joys of life, but so is music. Never listen to music while I'm working out, or just like
ever.
Ever.
You'll never hear music again. But you'll also never eat food again.
That's so tough. I just went to like a life-changing concert like a couple weeks ago. And
good that you got that in before you never get to hear it again.
Oh my gosh, that's real. That might be the hardest. Hardest this or that I've ever gotten. Because I love food so much. Like the pizza I had last night.
I mean, I know what I'm choosing.
What would you choose? Tell me.
Like, without doubt, food.
Yeah.
I'm eating
You give
food.
it up?
No, I'm eating the food.
You're eating the food and never listening to music.
Yeah. I mean, I like my music. I like driving around and having my favorite playlist on.
Yeah.
But like, that's like 8 out of 10. Like, food is like 11 out of 10.
Oh, they're like both 11 out of 10 for me. What about you, Anya?
I can't give up food. Love food.
I know.
I don't even care about music, to be honest.
Really?
She raw dogs all of her running.
Basically, yeah.
She's a crazy woman.
No, I love running to music.
You can still
actually
do podcasts and things.
No, I can't really run to podcasts. I can't do it.
Right,
running to music changes. If I'm running by myself and then I have music, if I'm like listening to Kygo or something on my run, it changes everything for me.
Right, you're gonna lose them both if you don't pick.
Oh my god! I think I'm choosing music. I know.
So wait, you're keeping the music?
I'm keeping music, I think.
Powdered food forever.
I know.
Jeez.
But at least I'll always have the memories of the food. And I can watch other people.
Also, you could listen to songs about food. And then you could like...
Yeah, I can watch other people eat food. Watching other people listen to music and not being able to hear it sounds like a literal nightmare.
Yeah. Right, our closing question on the podcast. You're designing your dream running race. How far is it? Where is it? What food and drink that's not powdered is being served? And who presents the award at the end?
Oh, that's so sweet. Gosh. New York City has always been such a special place for me. I've run the Fifth Avenue Mile a couple times. I was second one year to Jenny Simpson. Yeah, I won a national title here. And so I feel like actually it would be in New York. But I think the dream distance would probably, I don't know if it would be a steeplechase or a mile or 1,500. Maybe a steeple. I've never done a steeple in New York.
So we're putting some jumps along the Fifth Avenue.
Oh, that'd be fun.
In New York.
Oh, that would be really fun.
Okay. And then what's your finish line
like a
meal?
street steeplechase. Yeah. Ooh, probably no water, but just street steeplechase.
I'm sure we could go get some sprinklers out.
Yeah.
And so what's your finish line meal?
Pizza at the finish line for sure, especially in New York.
And then you win.
Pizza at the finish line, obviously.
You win, obviously. Who presents you the trophy?
Ooh.
And you can't pick me around you, obviously.
Oh.
Because that would be a quick
favoritism.
Answer.
Who's just like really killing it right now, who's been really fun. So I'll just say popular names: Alona Meyer, the rugby player who's just like been killing it right now. She was here. I don't know if you guys saw. She was like doing a thing for Maybelline at the New York City Marathon. So she was being interviewed at the finish line, and I was like, this woman is everywhere. She's like on Dancing with the Stars right now, and she made it out to New York for the marathon. So like that'd be pretty cool. She's outside of our sport, but just an icon for women's sports and for body positivity and women in general. So I feel like she would also like bring the energy. Like I would want someone who's like really energetic and excited.
I mean, I'm not very good at jumping over things, but I would try and jump over. I'll
to get to get pizza and an award from Alona at the finish.
I mean, not that I'll be getting the award, for sure.
Yeah.
But that sounds like a fantastic race.
At my dream race, everyone will get a finisher's medal.
Nice.
I would get a bigger trophy than everyone else, but then everyone would get some kind of something.
So guys, if you've been inspired, sign up. Tickets go live in 2034. But no, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
And we cannot wait to see you again soon.
I'm listening, and you guys have been killing the interviews. So thanks for having me on. It's been fun.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Runna. If you want to train for any goal, download the app today, and don't forget you can use the code Runna Podcast for a 2-week free trial.
Whether you enjoyed the episode or not, please like, share, follow, subscribe, do all of that nonsense, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. Wow, you made it all the way to the end of the podcast. And so for all of our loyal listeners, we have a special 15% off all of our Runna merchandise. If you want to look as cool as Anya, then go and use the code MyFastSocks for 15% off all of our Runna merchandise. And thank you again for listening.